Good afternoon. How are we doing today? Great. Sweet. My name is Adeline Gent. I'm a high school senior in Cambridge, Wisconsin. I'm an organizer with March for Our Lives. I've been in the gun violence prevention movement for about 4 years now. I have also had the privilege of working with Wisconsin Anti-Violence Effort, also known as WAVE, as an intern in 2020 and as a member of their voter registration team as well in that year. I was also a youth engagement intern in 2022. Their work has been crucial, not only to my journey in gun violence prevention, but also to the gun violence prevention movement as a whole, especially in Wisconsin, especially in Milwaukee. So it is my honor to introduce Jeri Bonavia. Jeri has worked on gun violence prevention since the early 1990s and is considered a leading voice on this issue. Throughout the state and across the country, she has grown from its humble beginnings to being one of the largest state-based gun violence prevention organizations in the nation. So come on up, Jeri.
Good afternoon, everyone. Recently, Kristi Noem, the governor of South Dakota, spoke at the NRA's annual convention. To build a little rapport with her audience, she told a series of, "Aw, shucks, I'm just a country gal," kind of stories. She told them that her nearly 2-year-old granddaughter already has her first pony, named Sparkles. Based on the tepid response from the audience, it appears that NRA members don't care much about little ponies. But she knew that. She figured out what to do. She reeled them back in when she told them that her nearly 2-year-old granddaughter also already has her first shotgun and her first rifle. I guess we shouldn't be surprised. There are any number of gun manufacturers that specialize in making guns for little children. There's a company called We1 Tactical that makes wee little assault rifles for wee little children. Assault rifles. Come on. I think we can all kind of agree that a child should be able to, go wee-wee on the big potty before they get their first We1 Tactical AR-15. What Governor Noem didn't tell the audience when she was sharing that whimsical story about her armed, nearly 2-year-old granddaughter is the real-world impact of guns, of gun violence on our children. She didn't tell them, as you've heard, that guns are the #1 killer of our children and our teenagers. She didn't tell them that there is an emerging industry of casket makers who specialize in making wee little caskets adorned with whimsical characters, Mickey Mouse, Paw Patrol, My Little Pony. She didn't tell them that our children aren't safe anywhere, that they are in the line of fire everywhere. When my daughter was pregnant, she went on tours of daycare centers, and at one of them, the teacher pointed out that they have 2 cribs with wheels, so that in an active shooter situation, they could pile all of the non-mobile babies into the cribs and wheel them to safety. She didn't say what happens to the not-so-steady, not-so-fast toddlers in their care. In his first week of preschool, my grandson learned how to hide in the bathroom and how to be really, really quiet so that the bandit couldn't find him. Some of our 3rd graders who are just learning how to tie their shoes are being taught to tie a tourniquet, being taught to stop the bleed. Our teenagers refer to themselves as the lockdown generation, or more chillingly, as the massacred generation. They have never known a time when they weren't being taught to hide, to run, to fight. Look, I know preventing gun violence is hard. This is a complex problem. It is so complex that only England has figured out how to prevent it. Well, England and Ireland and France and Germany and Denmark and Norway and Finland and Italy and Sweden and Switzerland and Austria and Australia and New Zealand and South Korea and Japan and Canada. That's right. Every one of our peer nations has figured out how to prevent gun violence. It's not a secret. They all know. We know. We know how to prevent gun violence. We know we need background checks on all gun sales. We know we need extreme risk laws. And we know we need to keep weapons of war off of our streets and out of our schools. Look, these policies are not only wildly effective, they are wildly popular too. Here in Wisconsin, extreme risk laws and background checks are more popular than beer or cheese. Cheese, we're the dairy state. The truth is, we are the only country among our peers that allows our politicians to put the profits of the gun industry ahead of the safety of our children. Instead of teaching our children how to stand up to gunmen, we should be teaching our politicians how to stand up to the gun lobby. We must contact our elected officials today and tomorrow and the next day and the next, and we must join together as an unbreakable gun violence prevention movement, and we must vote. Vote as though our children's lives depend on it, because they do. Our ancestors taught us that it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a village to keep that child safe, too. We are that village. We are here because we care. We are here because we will not give up and we will not back down and we will not lose hope. Because history teaches us that greed may be powerful, but in the end, it does not win. History teaches us that those who care, those who persevere, those who fight for humanity and decency, for righteousness and for the greater good, that ultimately those people, those movements always, always win. I thank you for being on the right side of history. I thank you for being that village. And for the sake of our children, Godspeed to us all.